Good morning, students. Well, if you're watching this in the morning, it's good morning. How about good week? Where are we on? Week 8? Set 9? Week 9. Good. Hello, week 9. So, as of now, only 12 of you have turned in your position paper. I hope that many of you will turn it in later. I will make it so that you can turn it in until Wednesday. You will have the penalty if you don't have it turned in by now, but at least you'll be able to turn it in for 10 points off. And I hope that you looked at the rubric and paid attention to what was going on, and I hope you enjoyed writing it. Now, this research paper that we're going to be doing, because that's the next part, and it's worth double. So it's worth 200 points rather than 100 points. So what we're going to do is go over this research paper today so that you will understand what's going on, and I will put the PowerPoint for it in the module so that you'll be able to see it. So anyhow, let's look at it and talk about the research paper. Many people really like this, and it seems like it's a lot at the moment, because it's got, well, let's see, let's go back for a second and show you what the prompt says. Okay, it consists of 2 parts: secondary research, which is outside resources, and be very careful again if you use any of the .coms or .orgs or .nets, because you have to do an internet site evaluation in order to do it. Just stick to the ones that are approved, guys. It is so much easier. So you're going to do secondary sources, outside research, and a research paper. It's got to be 7 to 9 pages instead of the normal 4 to 6. So it's got to be 7 to 9 approved secondary sources. And this is something that's different with it. It's got to have a variety of sources, no more of this 2 of the same type. Now, if you use it from the library database, you can use newspapers and magazines and books and scholarly journals and approved internet articles from the database, because the database is what's called a container. It has all of those things in it, but it's a container. And you can only use each source up to 3 times, but no more than 3 times, because I want it to be mainly your idea and a synthesis of lots of ideas rather than just a book report kind of one idea. And this one, you have to use 1 peer-reviewed journal. Remember we talked about those earlier, or the library assignment actually did, where you are going to use one that is peer-reviewed. It usually doesn't have as many pictures in it. Usually says journal of or something like that in it. If you have a question about it, ask me or ask the library. So 7 to 9 pages sounds like a lot, but whenever you're taught, whenever you just take it into like little bites, it's only like three pages if you do 9, or 2.5 pages if you do 7.5. You're going to find a topic, a problem that's multi-causal and can be fixed or at least made better. Explore the topic, research the problem to find possible causes, keep your mind open and go wide. Think about lots of different ways that you can lots of different things that maybe could cause this, rather than just already setting on one. And then you're going to submit an annotated bibliography, and we'll go over that a little bit more next time. So just make sure that you document the sources you consulted. And then each source does not have to be used in your essay. You can use other sources in your essay if you find them after you submit your annotated bibliography. So, and then write the essay. And for that, we're going to go to the PowerPoint. Okay, this is the overview. Okay, and we talked about this, secondary resources and a research paper. 7 to 9 pages. We've talked about this. All right. So And I will put the annotated bibliography handout in for sure. You're going to prove the problem exists. It could be drug abuse, spousal abuse, obesity, pro-homelessness, hunger, any other problem that society faces. I've had people do trash pickup in the high desert. I've had them do the water problems in the high desert. I've had them do different kind of interesting things like aimlessness or lack of, I don't know, you can think of anything that society faces as a problem. And maybe it's, I don't know, you can think of several different ideas that are in there. When we did this face-to-face, I'd have everybody write everything down. And we got a whole blackboard full of things. So you could talk about maybe crime, there's too much crime. Or you could talk about the police department is not done well. Or fire department is not done well. Or you could, I've had people do ones on the infrastructure of the high desert, like the roads and things, and then figure out, what you could do with that. But use your imagination, but make sure you can document the problem. So you might be able, now that COVID isn't quite as prevalent, you might even do an interview if you would like go somewhere to talk to people about some of these problems, and that would be fine. That used to be a requirement in this, that you'd have to document the social problem by going out and seeing things, but you don't. We aren't doing it now because of COVID and whatever. But anyhow, and then the second part is to do a causal analysis of the problem. And the third part is to figure out a solution. So figure out a problem, figure out what causes, figure out a solution. So the title, introduction, and thesis. As in the other essays, the title and introduction have two purposes: to catch the reader's attention and to introduce the subject. So you need concrete detail in the introduction. Specifics. A good story is always good. The thesis can be implied or explicit. If it's explicit, it would follow this format. Blank is a problem in the high desert. It has many causes, but if we work together, we can at least start to fix it. If the thesis is implied, just introduce the problem, but make sure you use very clear transitions when you move to the causal analysis and proposal parts. Pick a problem, proving the problem exists. Pick a problem that has no proven cause or effect. It has a multiple. Best way to find outside sources for this is CQ Researcher. It really is good. It's got a lot of really good ones. You can find other ones too. You can find things in opposing viewpoints too, but CQ Researcher is good on documenting social problems. You can do field research to see if the problem exists. If you choose homelessness, you could visit one of the homeless shelters in the community. People really found an interesting idea whenever they went. They saw it face to face, and it really changed their ideas about homelessness and homeless people. Show the problem exists on a large scale, like percentages and history and so forth, and then show the problem exists on an individual basis. You can use interviews here. You could use pathos in your essay for this, but it really does have to have both. You've got to prove the problem exists largely, but then how does it affect people just minutely, each individual person? You need to do that part too. And the causal analysis, speculate on several causes of the problem and then narrow your analysis to a single cause. That would make it easier to propose a solution. You can use secondary sources and your own logical analysis of the situation here. And then the next thing you're going to do is present one or more ways people have tried to solve the problem and analyze why they did or did not work. Then present your awesome solution in detail. Especially explore the cost as well as the effectiveness of the solution for both the society as a whole and individuals within the society. Overcome objections. Some people may say your solution wouldn't work but they fail to see that. So you're going to kind of use a opposition refutation idea in that. And then your conclusion gives a sense of closure. As always, does not summarize or add new ideas. Maybe a frame, and mention the introduction. If you mentioned, maybe the problem was latchkey children, and you talked about Susie, who always came home to an empty house. And then you would, after you analyzed the problem and figured out what was going on with it and all of that kind of stuff, and figured out a solution, then your conclusion would be how life would be easier for Susie if this happened. Often a call to action works well here. You should all get busy and implement your solution to make the world a better place. It's really a good way to end. Draft and conference. The more time you spend revising, the better your essay will be. I would encourage you to use the Writing Center to give your input on your draft before you schedule your conference with me. You will also need to schedule a Zoom conference to go over your research paper with me. I'll need to have a copy of your essay at that time so you can upload it to me. We'll spend about 15 minutes going over your essay, and I'll give you my suggestions. Then you can do the minor revisions and turn it in on or before the due date. And that is that, people. Okay. So let me go back over here to what else we needed to talk about this week. Okay, this gives you the ideas in a more concrete form, in a more summarized form. What else are you going to be doing? You're going to read chapter 9 and take the quiz. This one's a kind of fun one. This one has to do with causal analysis. Why we crave horror movies. It's kind of fun. Kind of fits to do with what we are doing here. Looks like somebody's already done one. Yay. Okay. And then you're going to upload your ideas for a topic for me. Remember, it must be a social problem with multiple causes. It will help if people have tried to solve the problem, but you think there would be a better way. Please ask me about your topic. Please do that. Okay? It's worth 2 points extra credit. That's not the big deal. The big deal is don't be spending a lot of time researching something that's not a social problem. And then here's the rubric. A title and introduction. Okay, essay structure is worth 80 points. It's a 40% of the grade. Sources worth 25. Details worth 25. Grammar worth 10% of the essay. Pretty much like the position. I think, is that it? You're going to be doing the subject-verb agreement. And the quiz for that. And that's it, guys. All right. So we will also have a quiz for this one, and I will make that up now because I haven't done it yet. So I will make up the quiz now and put it on there. I'll also put on the PowerPoint. I don't think it's on there. So, all righty, guys. I'll do an extra credit from one of the things that, instead of giving you a name, something here, I'll give you extra credit for something I said in the middle of the assignment. I hope I didn't put you to sleep. I hope you understand what's going on. Make sure you ask me questions. And I hope you succeed in this. I hope you enjoy it. And that is that, guys.